Here we go! And we are live. Back again. Another tier list. Another day, or I should say, I think it's supposed to go another day, another tier list. Not another tier list, another day, another tier list. We're back. Friday once again. Got a banger today for a tier list. We're doing the Paradox Pokemon. The new Pokemon added into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And I will even admit that the thing that made me decide whether to get Scarlet or Violet was the Paradox Pokemon in either game. In Scarlet, we had future Paradox Pokemon. In Violet, we had future Paradox Pokemon. In Scarlet, we had past Paradox Pokemon. It has so many cool new varieties of these Pokemon. It's not a regional. It's not a different, no, it's not a different evolution. It's a whole different, it's past or future. It's like what they would have been way back in the ancient days, or what they're going to look like years in the future. Their Paradox Pokemon are so cool, and I am so excited to do this tier list today. Mayo, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Did you play the new season? I have not. I'm planning on doing it after I'm done streaming here. I was like, you know what, before I play, I want to do a stream. Let's do a tier list stream ranking the Paradox Pokemon. Before we jump into this, let me just check the audio real quick. As I always do, just make sure everything's good to go. Everything is good to go. And here we go. How about it? Let's get right into it with the tier list right here. Now, there is a couple of things I will like to note. We are doing it as we always do. God tier at the top. S, A, B, C, D, F. And then down here, there are a couple of different Pokemon in here I'm not going to rank, and there is one Pokemon that's missing that I am going to rank in place of I'm going to use a different Pokemon to rank and represent that Pokemon. So what I'm talking about is Koraidon and Miraidon are down here, and I guess they are technically Paradox Pokemon, but we rank those in the Legendary tier list, and I don't want to rank them here because the Paradox Pokemon were on that tier list, and I didn't rank them. And obviously, Koraidon and Miraidon were on that tier list, and I did rank them. So I don't want to rank Koraidon and Miraidon on this list as well, because Koraidon, obviously, I like more than any of the Paradox Pokemon. It's one of my favorite Legendary Pokemon there is. I think I had it at number 5 overall, if I'm not mistaken. It was at the top of S tier, behind only the 4 Pokemon up in God tier. So, Koraidon and Miraidon, I am not going to rank in this, but, as you may see, we do have, Walking Wake. I couldn't think of its name for a second. I almost said Swift Swim, but I'm like, no, that's an ability. We have Walking Wake down here, but we don't have Raging Bolt. So what I'm going to do instead of Raging Bolt is Koraidon, and instead of Cobalion, I don't even know what his future Paradox form is. And for him, we're going to put Miraidon. So that's the plan for how we're going to go about ranking these guys once we get into here, because those are really cool ones. There's some of my favorite ones I will note, and they aren't here. And I do want to rank them, and I do want to put them on the list. So I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there that is how we will be representing those two Pokemon. And when we put Koraidon and Miraidon on this list, we're not going to be ranking them as Koraidon and Miraidon, but as Raging Bolt and future Cobalion. So now that is out of the way, let's get into it. I was thinking of what order I should do this in, and there is a couple of things I do. I most definitely already know where I'm going to rank them, but for the most part, I honestly don't really know where I want to put all of these. I'm going to, you know what? Let's alternate between, ooh, sorry. Sounded like I was sick there when I was coughing. I'm not. I feel fine. I just saw something was in my throat. I must have inhaled a piece of dust or something like that. But let's alternate between past and present. So in the order here, it goes Brute Bonnet, Iron Bundle, then Iron Hands. Let's go Brute Bonnet, Iron Bundle, then Fluttermane. So alternate between past and future. I'm going to keep saying past and present because, that's how you normally say things. Past and present, but instead it's past and future. But nonetheless, let's get into the first one. Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle's not the first one. Let's get into the first one. Brute Bonnet. Brute Bonnet right here is a interesting one. If I'm being honest, I could never remember its name. I always thought its name was Baneful Bunker, but that's a move Toxapex knows. It is beyond me why that is why I thought that was that thing's name. It's obviously the past form of Amoonguss. If I'm being honest, I don't really like Amoonguss that much. It's a Ratmon in VGC, let's be real. It's like, you're using that thing, that thing's not attacking, you're using that thing to stall, to put to sleep, and to protect. Like, and also Rage Powder. Like, when I like Pokemon battling, I understand the reasoning behind using Amoonguss in VGC, like the strategic side of things, but I like just all-out attack. The first ever Pokemon I really built a team around in VGC was Choice Band, Extreme Speed, Normal Terra type Dragonite. Just as much attack as you possibly can get. So I don't really like that whole, Sweatymon type thing as I refer to it as. But Brute Bonnet here is a bit different. It's not to the level of Amoonguss, but it does look significantly better than Amoonguss. Amoonguss looks kind of fat and gross. Brute Bonnet looks pretty cool. I like the stuff dripping off from the top of the Pokeball on its face. It's like, it reminds me almost like a weeping willow tree or like moss growing down on a mushroom or something like that. It looks really cool. I love how it's the Pokeballs. I think that's such a unique aspect of it. Now that I know, one interesting thing is we have Pokemon Legends Arceus where we have the old Pokeballs in that. And they look like, obviously, the old Pokeballs. They don't look like modern Pokeballs. But then we have Brute Bonnet here, who is a past Pokemon, but it has the normal Pokeballs on it. That doesn't make any sense. We're coming up with, we're discovering things in Pokemon right now. We're calling out flaws they have. I've just realized that. But nonetheless, Brute Bonnet, I actually have as a shiny. It was the first ever shiny Paradox Pokemon I got. I was playing with my brother, because my brother has Pokemon Violet. I have Pokemon Scarlet. And I was playing in his game, running around Area 0, looking for a good IV Iron Hands to use in VGC. Because Iron Hands is one of my favorite Pokemon to use in VGC. I'm like, I want a good IV one, because you obviously can't breed them. So I'm like, I want to try to catch a decent one. I end up finding a decent one, but amidst my hunt for that decent Iron Hands, I found just a random shiny Brute Bonnet. It was just walking around like normal. I wasn't even looking for Brute Bonnet. It was one of the first Brute Bonnets I had seen. That's the trend I've noticed with my luck with getting Pokemon, is I'm looking for one thing, and as I'm looking for that one thing, I keep seeing that thing obviously again and again and again until I find the one I want. But then all of a sudden, I'll see, we'll be going for a while. It was maybe 30, 45 minutes in, and it's the same thing that happened with the Flamigo shiny hunt. We were looking for shiny Flamigo for a couple of hours, and then all of a sudden, we see one Pawniard. That first Pawniard ended up being shiny. The first Brute Bonnet I saw ended up being shiny as well. So because of that, I like it a little bit more. If I'm being honest, I don't like it enough to put it anything above C tier, though. Brute Bonnet for me is down there in C tier. It's not the best when it comes to these Paradox Pokemon. And if I'm being honest, if I didn't catch the shiny and just find it randomly, I probably would have it down in D tier, if I'm being honest. Mayo, can't believe Indigo Disc is a month away, dude. I know. It was December 14th, right? That was the announcement date? December 14th, which is a Thursday, I will note. Let me check. So that's a Thursday. What's the December? It is 14th as the day, right? Yeah, 12/14. So it's a Thursday. So that's interesting. So Teal Mask was a Wednesday. Now Thursday's Indigo Disc. I find that, why wouldn't it be a Friday? Because all the big Pokemon stuff's always Friday for the TCG. So why Thursday of all days? I think that is a lot. Hey, I'm not complaining though, because rather than Thursday is obviously before Friday, so I'm not complaining whatsoever. But I do find it a little interesting. Nonetheless, dude, I'm so hyped for it. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to stream that. We're gonna be streaming that Thursday, that release day. I am so hyped for that. We'll do a massive stream for that day. That's gonna be so much fun. But getting back over here to the tier list, let's move on to a future Pokemon. Let's do Iron Bundle. One of the coolest Paradox Pokemon, I think. You take a completely random, useless Pokemon, Delibird. And I mean, no disrespect to Delibird, but people don't really like him too much. I described him as a random, useless Pokemon right there. And you take Delibird and make it just insane. It looks amazing. It's shiny, phenomenal. Battling in VGC, OP. It is so cool. Super fast, high special attack. Ice, water type. It is just such an amazing, awesome Pokemon. I love Iron Bundle so much. And honestly, you know what? I was going to say I'm going to put it in A tier. I'm going to throw Iron Bundle up in S tier simply because of what it did to Delibird. It took Delibird, a Pokemon that honestly was completely irrelevant. It's just like, oh, that's just that Christmas Pokemon that comes out during Christmas time in Pokemon Go and you'd see in the anime every so often. And then it turns it into a absolute monster. Like, it's the shiny's amazing. Like, dude, I love Iron Bundle. I'm putting it up there for sure. I think it's really cool. I'm going to leave it up there in S tier for now. I think that's a good solid spot for it. Mayo, you ever going to do another battle stream with viewers? You got to bulk up in the bundle. Dude, I'll probably try to do another one sometime soon. Because I do have that, we have the Ludicolo I want to use, and I have an idea for a team I want to try out in the actual, or actually, we've been in the process of making a team in Scarlet and Violet. I just haven't actually used said team yet. So probably sometime soon for sure. If I'm being honest, I'm having so much fun doing these tier lists right here. So I'm going to keep rocking with these tier lists. These are so much fun. Getting into the next Pokemon we have now, let's go to a past Paradox Pokemon, and let's go to Fluttermane. Fluttermane, we got 2 shinies of in one shiny hunt from one shiny sandwich. Shiny Fluttermane, I think, is amazing. The ghost fairy type. Normal Fluttermane, I think, is super cool. I mean, well, shiny Fluttermane, the green and orange makes it super cool. Normal Fluttermane is just a ghost fairy type. Super awesome Pokemon. Fast, high special attack. Super, super relevant and OP in VGC. And if I'm being honest, the reason why I like it so much is because of how good it is in battling. Once again, take a Pokemon like Mischievous. Relatively irrelevant. Relatively irrelevant. Does that even make sense? Imagine Fluttermane could evolve. That's something that I was kind of thinking of myself, because you have a couple Pokemon on here that do evolve. Fluttermane, Sandy Shocks, Screamtail. I mean, imagine we get something like that in the future. I'm not going to try to speculate too much, but I think that could be something cool that's like clearly on the table for them. But nonetheless, Fluttermane, if I'm being honest, the design I don't love, but because of what it is, what it does, I love it because of that. I'm going to put it up there in A tier. S tier, for me, it has to be like amazing design, cool concept around it, super fun in battling. For me, Fluttermane is solid A tier. I don't like the design too much. It is significantly better than Mischievous, I think. Although, because of how much I like it in terms of VGC and battling and stuff, I'm going to put it higher than I normally would if I was doing based off just design. If this was just design, it'd be B tier for sure. But because of how much I like it in VGC, I'm putting it up there in A tier. Next one we're going to do, let's do a future one. Let's do is Iron Jugulus, right? That's Hydreigon, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even know, if I'm being completely honest, the name of this thing. This one is honestly the Paradox Pokemon I have had the least, I'll say, interactions with. Because all of these other ones, like, I've used or wanted to use or have caught in some way, whether it be I've used them in Showdown or I've caught them in Scarlet and Violet, I've battled with them in Scarlet and Violet. Like, I've done something with a lot of these. Iron Jugulus, again, I think the name is, or Hydreigon, I really haven't done anything with. If I'm being honest, design-wise, it's probably the most basic one. I mean, it's literally just Hydreigon if Hydreigon was metal. Now, I know some of them you could say something similar, but, like, the other ones have, like, I feel reasoning and, like, significant changes. I mean, it's just a flying dark type, right? It's like Murkrow. Like, I mean, I don't really get it too much. And again, like, Hydreigon's a Pokemon for me that I put it rather low on the pseudo tier list. I put it as second to last above only Komodo. But I don't know, this one is just, I don't know, it's a weird one for me. I'm thinking, I have to think here for a second where I'm gonna put it, or I should say how low I'm gonna actually put this thing, or I mean, I guess how high, or just how low or how high, just where I'm gonna rank this thing. Because I will note, I was watching PokeRev open some packs for Paradox Rift, and there is a really cool hollow Iron Jugulus or Paradox Hydreigon card that I absolutely love, because it's the future one, and it's a flying type card, so it's a normal attribute on the card, and half the card is white because of the normal type, then half the card is like this futuristic design, and it's a hollow. It's in the future part is like a hollow, so half the card is like a full hollow. Like, it's an amazing card, and out of all the normal hollow Paradox Pokemon, it is my favorite one from Paradox Rift. That is a card I definitely want to try to pull, or if I don't pull it, I'll probably just end up buying it myself. But I do like the card. So because of that, I'm going to put it in C tier above our boy over there. I'm thinking his name's Baneful Bunker. I can't even think of this thing's name. Oh my gosh, we literally did it as the first one. It's beyond me. Dude, again, like, I swear I'm cursed by this Pokemon. I'm telling you guys, like, I'm the Poke player. I'm relatively good with most, if not all, Pokemon names. Brute Bonnet, there we go. That name just, it feels like I have memory loss when it comes to thinking of Brute Bonnet's name. Like, because literally, when I was just trying to think of it there, for the life of me, I wouldn't have been, if you would have said you have 5 seconds, your life's on the line, if you get it wrong, you're dead. I'd have been, the Poke player would have died on stream right there. I would have had no idea what that thing is. Brute Bonnet. I don't know why I always think Baneful Bunker. It is beyond me why I think that, but that is a name that just always slips my mind. So, Iron Jugulus is above Brute Bonnet in C tier for me. So now let's go on to a past Paradox Pokemon. Let's go down to one that, you know, is kind of weird, if I'm being honest. And when I first saw the game, I'm like, this is the weirdest one. Sandy Shocks. I don't know what it is, man, but when I was first seeing the leaks and stuff of the Paradox Pokemon, and then when it was officially announced before the game's actually officially released, I'm like, Sandy Shocks is my least favorite one. That one looks really just kind of weird. How it attacks, and it has like the black bits all around it, like move out. Its legs I thought were really weird. I was like, ugh, it's just a weird Pokemon. I didn't like it too much. Then I saw it in game. In game, for those that don't know, in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, all like the metal Pokemon aren't like a matte metal. They're like a glossy / chrome metal. Some examples: Metagross, Speldum, Metang will be like this in the Indigo Disc DLC. Scizor is like this currently in the game, where he's kind of like, looks chrome almost. Magneton, Magnemite, Iron Hands. They are all like chrome. It's not just like a silver color, it's an actual chrome color, which I think looks so cool. It is a ground electric type, which is a really cool typing. And if I'm being honest, it has grown on me over time. Do I like it more than these other ones I have on the tier list still? No. I'm going to put it down below Brute Bonnet. I mean, the only reason Brute Bonnet is above it is because Brute Bonnet I got a shiny of. But those two I'm kind of like, the C tier ones I'm kind of just impartial on. That's kind of the tier right now. It's like, I don't love them, I don't hate them, but like they're just kind of average to me. So that's why that one is there. Let's move on now to a future Paradox Pokemon. Let's go to Iron Thorns. How about it? Mecha Godzilla. I thought this was so cool. When I first saw that this thing was leaked, and when I first saw the leaks of the Paradox Pokemon, this was my favorite one. Mecha Godzilla, dude. It looks so sick. Tyranitar, the original Godzilla Pokemon. Obviously, we have Baxcalibur now, who is based more on the Godzilla designs being literally exact copies. The whole Baxcalibur line is exact copies of different forms of Godzilla, but Tyranitar's the OG Godzilla-mon, let's be real. And having this one here is like the Mecha Godzilla, I think it's so cool. Electric Rock type, if I'm not mistaken, has a phenomenal shiny. I love this thing. The Iron Thorns, the name sucks, if I'm being completely honest. Like, use and battling, I'm pretty sure it sucks as well. It's not the best in terms of that stuff, but just the design, the shiny, the fact that it's a future Tyranitar, like, I love everything about it. I'm putting it up in, where would I put this thing? You know what? Based on design alone, I'm putting it up in S tier. But I'm going to put it below Iron Bundle because, again, I like Iron Bundle more because of its more relevancy in actual battling. But Iron Thorns, I think, is solid. So not solid. Clearly, it's better than solid. I think it's really good. So I'm putting it up there in S tier for sure. Now let's go to a past Pokemon. You know what? Let's do these two. The pair. One of the only ones where for this Pokemon there is a past and present form. You know what? Let's do both of those back to back here. Let's do both of the Donphans and both of the Volcaronas. Starting with the Donphans, we have Great Tusk and, oh my gosh, what's the name of future Donphan? Future. Iron Treads. Oh my gosh, I pulled that card in my first opening of Scarlet and Violet. I did an ETB and I pulled it. Iron Treads EX. I can't believe I couldn't. See, because all the names are so similar. Iron Treads, Iron Thorns. Like, they're all just they're so similar for the future ones. They're all iron, iron, iron. Because, like, think about it for a second. Iron Bundle, Iron Jugulus, Iron Moth, Iron Hands. Yeah, they're all just iron. Iron Valiant, Iron Treads. The past one's Roaring Moon, Slitherwing, Fluttermane, Sandy Shocks. Like, they're all different names. The future ones are just iron, iron, iron. There's no way. I had to have realized that before, and I'm just kind of re-realizing it right now. There's no way this is the first time I'm realizing it. I'd be rather dumb, I think, if that is the first time I'm realizing that as of right now. But nonetheless, Iron Treads then. I mean, easy B tier for me. I definitely like it better than the ones I have down there in C tier, but for me, it's not something that's, like, amazing. It has a relatively cool shiny. I think it turns mainly black, if I'm not mistaken. I love the red on it, though. How the location of the face, I think, is really cool. The tusks are cool. Everything about it it's a cool Pokemon. And one thing, too, is, like, we'll look at Great Tusk right here. And Great Tusk looks more like the normal Donphan, the normal elephant, where the eyes are kind of on the side. But one thing I really like about Iron Treads is that it's just a normal, like, robotic face right in the middle. It doesn't have the eyes on the sides like normal animals do. It just has the robotic face right in the middle. I think that's really cool. Field of Vision is goose egg because it can't see anything behind its tread there in the face, but, like, nonetheless, it's a cool Pokemon, cool concept. I really like it. I love Donphan as well. It's one of my favorite Pokemon from Johto for sure. But then Great Tusk. Great Tusk for me is one of my favorite Paradox Pokemon. When I first saw this thing, because I love Donphan. I love Donphan so much. And Great Tusk, for me, I was so hyped when I first saw it. I love the massive horns, or tusks, horns. It's the name. The name's literally, what they're called is literally in the name. The massive tusks, it just looks, dude, it looks phenomenal. It looks awesome. I love it so much. The shiny is okay. It's one of the ones, it reminds me a little bit of Garchomp a bit, where kind of just, or no, it reminds me of Tyranitar, I should say more, where just kind of, it changed to a different color, but the color is kind of weird. With it being, like, the ground type, it has those, like, earthy colors, I will admit, but, like, I don't know, the shiny I've never been a fan of. Reminds me of, like, P or P. I don't know if I've ever done that before in my life. I just said P or P. Thinking pea like in when you go pee, or pea as in, like, the peas you eat. Like pea yellow or pea green. Like, those were the two things I just described them back to back. Obviously, there's different spellings in two different words, but I just described them back to back in the same sentence. It probably made no sense whatsoever. But I feel that the colors of the shiny Great Tusk reflect a lot of those colors, and because I don't like it too much, the shiny that is. Although the actual normal just version of it, I'm putting up an S tier behind Iron Bundle, dude. I love that thing. I love its mouth too. It's got, like, it looks like shark teeth with, like, the teeth aspect of it, but it's not, like, behind its lips. It's just, like, its face. Like, it's so, some people might think that's a simple, dumb, basic design, but I love it, man. I think it's so cool. Do I put it above Iron Bundle, though? I don't think I do. I don't think I put it above Iron Bundle. I do really like it. I'm not going to put it above Iron Bundle. I'm not going to put it up there. But let's move on now to the next pair of Paradox Pokemon. Volcarona, one of the biggest, baddest, best Pokemon from Unova, from Generation 5. Many people, I'm sure, from when they were playing the game the first time, thought that thing was a legendary when they first encountered it. I sure did, down at the bottom of those ruins in the desert. It is such a cool Pokemon. The champion Alder has it as his ace Pokemon. Like, it's designed, dude. It is so cool. Has an awesome shiny. Larvesta, if I'm not mistaken, is... Oh, I don't remember specifically what this is. It's either Larvesta or Zwellios. One of those has to get to the highest level out of any Pokemon to evolve to its final form. Zwellios to Hydreigon is maybe like 61. I'm gonna look this up. What level does Zwellios evolve? 64. What level does Larvesta evolve? 59. Okay, I was going to say... Okay, I knew one of them was 59. 59 for Larvesta, one of the highest levels a Pokemon needs to get to evolve. And it's worth it, though, because it evolves into an amazing Pokemon. So, typically when you have something that perfect and you try to change it, it ends up being really bad. But sometimes it can be really good. Typically, though, it's not better than it was before, but it is still really good. But a lot of the times, it ends up just being really, really bad. Slitherwing is an example of it being really, really bad. Slitherwing is the epitome of those things being really, really bad. Slitherwing, I think, is awful. Dude, if I'm being honest, I don't really like bugs that much. I've never liked bugs since I was little. My parents used to tell me that they'd buy me bug books to get me unscared of bugs when I was little. And if anything, they think that honestly made things worse. Now, I mean, I don't really care. It doesn't bother me too much. Like, you should see me. Your boy's out there. There was one time on the mailbox at the front of the house. I went to get the mail, and there was a wasp on the mailbox. I'm like, you know what? I hate this thing. I flicked it against the mailbox, and it bounced off and was like laying there, and it was like stunned. Then I just take my finger and squish it right on the head. Dude, I'm ruthless with killing wasps. These stink bugs all over the place. Spiders, centipedes. I mean, if I'm being honest, it's not that I'm comfortable with bugs now. Like, I'd be willing to hold them in my hand. I see people holding bugs and stuff in their hand. I'm like, that's not for me. I'm killing those things left and right. But this thing right here reminds me of those bugs that I'm killing left and right. I'm not saying I'd be doing that to a Pokemon like Slitherwing. I don't hate it that much. But in terms of design, when we see it down on the ground like this, it looks fine. I love how the feathers on the back, or what would you even call those things? The red pieces sticking out its back. I love how it looks like spines almost, as if it's a dinosaur. But the thing I hate, dude, it gives me the heebie-jeebies when I see this thing. When it stands up and its legs are like this, oh my god, no, it reminds me of a moth. Dude, there was one time, I don't know how this happened. In my room, my window was left open. And I had a light on next to my bed. And so bugs were flying into the light. And I get in my room and I'm going to bed. I didn't realize the window was open. And I'm in my bed. I'm about to turn the lights off. And I reach up to turn the light off. And there's just I don't know if I was overreacting or from the moment I was in. What I thought was the biggest moth I've ever seen. And I remember so vividly how massive its hairy body and face looked, and its legs. And every time I think of that, that's what I think of when I see Iron Moth. I'm like, or Iron Moth, Slitherwing. I'm like, ugh. I don't like it. Slitherwing for me is F tier. If it stayed down on all fours like this, it'd probably be C tier, if I'm being honest. But it's when it pops up and goes like this, I'm like, nope, not for me. On the other hand, we have Iron Moth. Iron Moth is one of the best Paradox Pokemon we have. I'm not going to put it up in S tier because if I'm being honest, I don't even know if I've caught one before in the game. This is based solely on looks alone. Iron Moth is awesome. It reminds me so much, if there was like a movie, and in the movie, there was like some futuristic killer robot. And that thing, its goal was just to be a killing machine. And that's all that thing was meant to do. If I were to envision what that would look like as some like robotic thing, not like a robot, like humanoid robot, just a robot, I would envision Iron Moth. That's what I think of. I'd be like, doot, 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 and it's got like the 3 wings on either side, and they pop out, aim forward, and just start shooting lasers at you. Like, that's what I envision with Iron Moth. It's got a really awesome shiny. It's just, if I'm being honest, its body kind of looks just like a normal Volcarona. The only difference is its wings, but I think they executed this thing perfectly. And if I'm being honest, if I were to run this tier list back after I actually took the time to catch and play with all of these Pokemon in an actual game, Iron Moth probably would be higher. And if I'm being honest, it might be the only one I don't have. Nope. There's one other one on here I know I haven't caught once before. And if I'm being honest, I'm almost at the point now where I'm making an effort to not catch it at the point I'm at right now. But Iron Moth, like, I have Pokemon Scarlet. I don't have Violet. I've went in the game with my brother, obviously, when I was catching, like, Iron Hands. I caught Iron Treads. Most of them I ended up catching. I caught Iron Valiant. I caught the Iron Jugulis. I caught just about all of them, except I don't know. I might have it. Next time I play in Scarlet and Violet, next time we go in there with the shiny hunts, I'm going to have to check the boxes to see if I even have one, but Iron Moth, for me, I think is just a phenomenal, phenomenal design. I absolutely love that thing. And the reason why it's not up in S tier, you probably think, Pokeplay, you're talking about how much you love this thing, think how amazing and awesome it is. Shouldn't it be an S tier? I'm not putting it in S tier because of the fact that I've literally never used it before. It might be absolutely butt cheeks in actual battling, and because of that, that'd make me like it less. But based solely on design alone, I'm going to put it in the top of A tier, and if I'm being honest, it's probably going to stay there at the top of A tier for the remainder of the tier list right here. But speaking of Pokemon I haven't caught, let's do that one next. Screamtail. I haven't caught a Screamtail. I have Pokemon Scarlet. And it's not that I haven't seen Screamtail. Screamtail are all over the place in Area 0. It's just that I don't know why I've never caught it, if I'm being completely honest. I'm going to have to catch it once I try to complete the Pokedex for the Shiny Charm, but I'm going to save Screamtail for the last Pokemon I need to catch in the Pokedex. Literally just because, like, you'd think one of the first things everyone does when they get to Area 0 is go catch all of the Paradox Pokemon. For me, though, I've literally never caught a Screamtail. It's not even in my Pokedex right now in Scarlet, but I don't really have any reason for it. I don't have any reason as to why I haven't caught one yet. If I'm being honest, dude, the design does kinda, I don't like it that much. Like, I'm gonna put it down here in D tier. I don't think it's a pre-evolution Pokemon, evolves into Wigglytuff. And Screamtail, the past Jigglypuff, is just, I don't know, it's so lackluster. Like, Fluttermane, I feel, is a significant upgrade from Misdreavus. So see, look, dude, these names, all these different names of these Pokemon, it's all, my head's all over the place right now. I feel like it's slightly different than Misdreavus, or it's enough of a difference from Misdreavus to make me look at that thing. Like I look at Fluttermane next to Misdreavus, I'm like, I like Fluttermane way better than Misdreavus. Misdreavus was just spawning a whole bunch in Pokemon Go because of the Halloween event. And I kept seeing, I'm like, yeah, dude, and it was the same time I was shiny hunting Fluttermane, so I was seeing tons of Fluttermane and tons of Misdreavus. I'm like, yeah, Fluttermane is significantly better than Misdreavus. Screamtail to Jigglypuff, same. Dude, got a Jigglypuff plush right here. Jigglypuff to Screamtail, like, yeah, Screamtail has that big feather tail thing on its head. Jigglypuff just has it right here. Is that what it is? See how Jigglypuff has this little, like, thing on its head? Is Screamtail's one just a big one that goes down its back? That might be the only real difference, and it has the extra whiskers that come out from under its ears. Screamtail for me, I just don't like, dude. I don't think it, I don't really like it that much. The only reason I like Slitherwing worse is because Slitherwing literally grosses me out when it stands up. Screamtail for me, just, it isn't one of my favorites. Let's just leave it at that. Now, though, let's get into some of the legendaries. How about it? Let's get into, what's Virizion? Future Virizion? I know Walking Wake, and I don't know Cabalion's name either, so let's just say Future Virizion. Let's go with this. It looks exactly the same as normal Virizion. Although I will admit, I like how the colors on it pop. I think the colors on it are really good. I think they're really cool. And it is an upgrade from Virizion because if we're being honest, that trio sucks. Like, you got Cobalion, Terrakion, Virizion. And then Keldeo. Like, those Pokemon are just bad, dude. No one really likes them. This, though, I do think is an upgrade from what they were. I think this Future Virizion is better than all of the other four in their normal forms in black and white. So because of that, I'm not going to put it down at the bottom. I am going to put it a little in, should I put it in B tier or the top of C tier? You know what? I'm going to put it at the top of C tier right now because it's kind of in the same spot for me as Hydreigon, Sandy Shocks, and Brute Bonnet, where it's like, I don't dislike them, but I have no reason to like them as well. The only reason I really like Virizion is because, like, I think the colors pop so much on it. The green and, like, what would you even call that? Like, pinkish, like, that's such a, like, the color, the stripe down the middle of its head, that's such a vibrant color. I think it looks really cool, so I'm gonna put it there at the top of C tier. But let's do its counterpart, which is Walking Wake. I think, like, here, dude, with Walking Wake, when I first saw this thing, I was like, that's amazing, that's awesome, that's so cool. But as I've seen it more, being completely honest with you guys, I've liked it less and less the more I've seen it. I'm being completely honest with saying that. I have liked it less and less the more I've seen it. I'm going to look closely here at it. Let me just zoom in on it. Like, I get it's supposed to be like a Velociraptor. I get, like, it's got the two tails. It's like, you know, the Velociraptor runs fast, got the legs up. Like, it's based on Suicune. It is, like, I don't know, dude. It is, like, it is cool. But, like, I just feel like when I first saw it, I was like, this is one of the coolest Pokemon I've ever seen. And now I'm like, This thing's meh. I don't think we've gotten a card for it yet, if I'm being honest. That might be one where my opinion changes on it once we see an actual card for it. But if I'm being honest, like for me, Walking Wake, I'm gonna put up in. Should I put it at the top of B tier or bottom of A tier? I'm gonna put it in B tier. Because I do think I like Fluttermane better than Walking... Do I like Fluttermane better than Walking Wake? Let's put it in B tier for now. We can always come back to it later on. Do not disrespect Terrakion. Those guys suck. They are awful. And speaking of those, let's do continue on with these like legendary Paradox Pokemon right now. So let's use Miraidon here as future Cobalion. Down at the bottom of C tier. I've seen the Cobalion. It's not that good. Again, like Virizion, it's just copy and paste or just make it a robot rather than a normal Pokemon, dude. Like it's not that good. I honestly don't like it that much at all. You know what? Nah, I'll put it down in D tier, honestly. Above Screamtail, I do like it better than Screamtail, but it's just not for me, man. I don't like it that much at all. Then on the other hand, we have Raging Bolt. Dude, I know we haven't seen this thing in game. And I will admit, when I first saw it, I hated it. But it has grown on me so much. This might be the most a Pokemon has ever grown on me. I love that thing's design right now. I think the colors of it pop so well. I love that, like, the purple part around its face is, like, you could say a thundercloud in its, like, Raging Bolt. The, like, thunder, like, dude, the lightning coming down. It is Raging Bolt. It's such a sick name. I love that thing so much. So I'm going to put it up here. Should I put Raging Bolt up in God tier? It's like a giraffe thing. Or should I leave it top of S tier? I'm going to leave it there for now. Let's leave it there for now. I'm going to think about it more once we get on to the next one. Which we're going to get into the next one right here. And let's do Iron Valiant. Iron Valiant, for me, if I'm being honest, I don't like that much at all. It's fine. I know it's really strong. It's got a decent shiny. But for me, man, I will admit, it's above average. I love, like, the robotic warrior type aspect of it. So I do like it a little bit. I like the C tier is, like, I'm impartial to it. B tier is the ones I like a little bit. Iron Valiant, I do like a little bit. Do I like it more than Iron Treads and Walking Wake? Honestly, no, not at all. But then we get into the top two. The big dogs. Top two, I should have said last two because I kind of gave a spoiler right there. Roaring Moon and Iron Hands. These two Pokemon are going to the top of the tier list. They're going to be the top two on here. I'll tell you guys that right now. Or they might be. Yeah, they might be. Let's put them up here. Roaring Moon and Iron Hands. Now, when I first saw the Paradox Pokemon, as I said, Tyranitar was my favorite one. But then once I saw some more of this past Salamence, I fell in love with this thing. Salamence used to be my favorite Pokemon of all time. And Mega Salamence, I felt, was such a disappointment because it was just had a giant disc on its back. It was the same aspect with why I don't like Hydreigon. It just loses its legs. Like, where are the legs going? Like, I didn't like it that much whatsoever. But then I see this. I'm like, this is what the Mega Salamence should have been. And because of that, I love it so much. Roaring Moon, how the wings stretch out to look like the moon. Like, it is amazing. Its shiny is super cool. Normal shiny Salamence literally just turns lime green, and it sucks. This one does turn lime green, but because of all the different colors it has on it, it makes it look so much better. The tips of the wings aren't just smooth tips like Salamence, which I will note, that's one of my favorite aspects of Salamence, how simple the design is. Roaring Moon just takes all of the good parts about Salamence and is like, okay, if we were to add more detail to it, but make that detail amazing, what would we do? Make it look like there's feathers at the tips of the wings, dude. It's super strong. I love this thing so much. Only thing I have to say bad about it is the sprite in the game absolutely sucks. Why is it crawling around on the ground? Everything we saw of this thing in the promotion, when we were seeing the build-up and hype to it, and even the first card we're seeing of it, the special illustration art in Paradox Rift, all of it portray Roaring Moon as being a Pokemon that flies. This special illustration art is the Pokemon flying up out of the center of Area Zero. the sprite right here, it is flying right here. In the image that revealed, or like the deck, it's the images that they were using to reveal the Paradox Pokemon would turn out to be the Dex entry images for the Pokedex in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. In the Dex entry image, it is like up in Area 0, like roaring up in the sky, like the roaring moon it is. Then you go to Area 0, and the first time I saw one and encountered one, I'm like, that's one of the biggest disappointments I've ever seen in Pokemon. Why is it crawling around on the ground? So that is the only thing I have to say bad about it. Everything else about it, I absolutely love. Then on the other hand, we have Iron Hands. I have always really liked Hariyama. I remember when Johto first came out in Pokemon Go, Hariyama was the first like a fully evolved wild Pokemon I ended up finding. I use them all the time in for fighting types and raids in Pokemon Go. I loved how Hariyama was portrayed in the anime in Generation 3, seeing the fight between Hariyama and the 6-move Snorlax Ash had. One of the most legendary battles in all of the Pokemon anime. And when I saw this, I'm like, it's cool. They're taking Hariyama and just changing it up. I thought that the design was rather similar to what it was, so I didn't really love it, if I'm being completely honest. But as I have started to play VGC more and more, I have come to love this thing. I use Grass Terra type Iron Hands with Leftovers, Wild Charge, Drain Punch, Detect, and Fake Out. Those are the moves I use on it. Leftovers is the item, like I said. Grass Terra type. That thing is... I enjoy battling with that thing so much. It's so much fun to use. The shiny's okay. It just turns all silver, gets rid of the yellow. I like the aspect that the hands are like magnetically connected. They're like floating to the side of it. It's not like actually physically connected to the body. They're just kind of like floating there. It looks so cool. I love that thing so much, dude, mainly because how much I like battling it. And I think this is the first tier list I've done where I've ranked so many of them based on how much I like them in terms of battling. I don't know if I've ever done that really for a tier list before. But that's how I'm going to do it. And as I'm thinking now, I was debating putting Raging Bolt up in God tier. I'm not going to put it up there right now. Again, Raging Bolt is Koraidon on the tier list right here. I'm not going to put it up there in God tier because we don't even know the stats of that thing yet. It could be absolute stinky butt cheeks, and I'll probably... my level of likeness on that thing will go significantly down. But let me just say, if Raging Bolt turns out to be cracked in battling, I'm putting it up there in God tier for sure. Design alone, it is at the top of S tier. If that thing's insane in battling, if it's like some Dragon Electric type, instant God tier Pokemon for me without a shadow of a doubt. But that is all for the tier list we have right here. That's all I have for the stream today. I thank you all so much for watching. May, are you going to end the stream here? It would be a really short stream. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up here. Want to do a quick, simple stream today. Just do the Paradox Pokemon tier list. Tomorrow morning, we have a video going up at 11 a.m. It's a funny video, you can say. I'm excited to have that one go up. Hope you guys enjoy it. That'll be going up tomorrow at 11 a.m. We have shorts going up all next week, every day. As always, there'll be a short going up on a Sunday. I don't know if I'm going to stream on Sunday because Sunday is Pooper Calm Day. Oh, one thing I am going to stream, though. I'm going to stream... No, we're not going to do a normal stream on Sunday, but I am going to stream my daily incense for the first time ever. Either on probably tomorrow evening or afternoon on Saturday. Definitely on Sunday as well. So we have that to look forward to this weekend. Try to try some stuff new on the channel. Then next weekend, I'll kind of give a little bit of a spoiler. Paradox Rift released today. Yeah, November 3rd. It released. I can't believe I didn't mention that once all stream. Paradox Rift. We're doing the... I should have mentioned this at the start of the stream. Paradox Rift, the set based around Paradox Pokemon, released today on the day we're doing the Paradox tier list. Dude, the Pokeplay is good. Look at that. I didn't even realize that, and I linked those two together like that. Yo, that's awesome! But that set released today, so next weekend's video, I'm going to be opening that up. So I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to all the good, crazy stuff we have coming up. But like I said, that is all for today. That is all for the stream. Run through the tier list once again real quick. Slitherwing down there in F tier. That thing gives me the heebie-jeebies, man. I think it looks weird. Fluttermane and, Miraidon is future Cobalion. Just simply don't like the designs. C tier, just Pokemon I'm impartial to. I don't like them, but I don't hate them at the same time. B tier, Pokemon whose Paradox Pokemon I like the design of. I don't necessarily love, though. A tier, I really like the designs of these. I think they're really cool. Iron Moth and Fluttermane for sure. S tier, some of my favorite ones, Mecha Godzilla, Great Tusk, Iron Bundle, and then Koraidon again is Raging Bolt. Then at the very top, we have God tier, my two favorite ones, Iron Hands and Roaring Moon. That is all for the stream today. Thanks to all those that took the time to tune in. Shout out to Mayo. Thank you for hanging out here in the chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all those that may be watching the replay of this stream. But like I said, that is all. I thank you all so very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. And this is the PokePlay.